So the Zentner Compactline for us solved a couple of problems and provided a lot of added benefits. Some of the things that we faced on a daily basis were chemical consumption. We didn't really have a read on it. It was basically just whatever you needed to do to finish the job. Like chemical absorption from a human standpoint. You had people that were working in environments that, although our SDS sheet said that they were safe with the use of proper PPE, they're still in the environment, they're still in the air. How do you know if it's properly ventilated? We have wall fans, we have ceiling fans, we try to do everything in our power to keep people safe, but with it being a dip tank system going into a pressure washer booth, we just weren't able to guarantee that in a way that we felt comfortable. So that was problem number one. Problem number two is finding somebody who wants to wash screens all day. Being the owner of this business, it's something that I've had to do before. It was a great after high school job, but it got old fast. Nobody wanted to wash screens. Dirty, smell bad, chemical, absorption or chemical concern. So I would say that this machine, as well as helping us with, speed and cleanliness, obviously, it helps solve that issue for us too. Instead of being a dirty job, it becomes running a machine. Now you're not moving, right? So while we've reduced our head count back here, it's allowed our person running our screen room, our entire pre-press area, you might say, to do all of our reclaiming, all of our exposing, all of our developing, and all of our coding. One person doing it throughout the whole month. So, and obviously we have people cross-trained to help assist in different areas, but our normal process has one person doing all these jobs. And the way we've been able to accomplish it is by spreading it out into we thought it was going to be workflow based, but because of some of the constraints of the machines, we had to look at it more like a process or task based system. So it makes more sense to reclaim in the morning, so that in the afternoon the reclaim screens are dried to then be coated. And then at the same time, while we're running the reclaimer, because it's a belt feed system, you can keep stacking screens on, you can actually expose or image while you're running the reclaim system. And then at the same time, you're developing. So obviously, if you pull the coating out of the workflow, it does actually flow somewhat okay. It's really up to the operator at that point to do what they do. If you had a shop that has a good screen inventory, you could run this baby 2 days a week, morning and afternoon, and you'd be able to keep up with your reclaiming and your coded library. Tree just likes things to be more flow, more daily, and be able to keep up with inventory that way. She's actually allowed us a way to keep our screen inventory a little bit softer. And with that, we see better emulsion quality. We don't have any risk of exposure. We don't have any risk of contamination. Everything's fresh. So and it helps us track our usage better. So when we go to restretch screens, we know that instead of just replacing 100 pieces into an inventory that's already 500, why not replace 100 pieces back into a 300 piece inventory and keep recycling? So it's we haven't found ourselves where we've gotten into a situation where it's hurt us yet. If our capacity grows, our library will have to grow. So there's concern there, but obviously today it's not something that concerns us. The Zentner itself, obviously self-contained. So you have your three booths. So behind the control panel here is another booth. You have ink remover, stencil remover, and then your wash booth. Now obviously Zentner offers much more robust lines, but for us, we have a space constraint, so that's number one. Number two is we got a good deal on it, so not bad, right? The chemicals are in the basins here. They use pumps to bring it up through and run it in power washers to wash screens. Same thing, we have a big pressure washer on the back side here that runs the pressure washer inside the water tank. Something to consider if you're looking into a wash system is the fact that everything that comes out of this tank is recycled back through the machine. So it has a filter underneath this booth that catches all the ink waste, and then that falls down, what's left of chemical and water falls back down and gets recycled back through the machine. So while we change our tanks probably once every month or so, that's it. That's the chemicals we use for ink remover. Our stencil remover, this is what, a 35-gallon tank or more, 40-gallon tank-ish, and you use about half a quart of chemical in that. So your chemical usage is next to none. Like, the chemicals are expensive, but we found ourselves being able to pump directly out of these tanks into 55-gallon waste drums, and we recycle it at a reputable recycler in town. And that's helped us now decide that not only are we going to be trying to protect our own people, but we're going to try to like continue to better ourselves and kind of chase perfection as far as chemical disposal goes. We're not seeing anything go down the drain anymore. Any type of waste that comes out of the backside of this booth goes into a material roll, dries onto the material wall, and then can be discarded that way. And then any of the chemical and the water mixture comes back in the tank and is going to the waste drum. So it helps us sleep a little better at night knowing that we're trying to do our part. And all of us screen printers know that the chemicals we use on a daily basis, although they've been marked safe, the chemistry is better than it's ever been before. A lot of us used to use bar salt, but it's a really good feeling knowing that we're trying to continue to make better recycling practices. And so this has helped us do it. As far as how the screens go in and come out, they load on this side, come out on that side. As far as what you see as a finished product, with the compact line, you're going to see about 75 to 80% of the way there with some touch-up stuff. Our operator runs them through a second time and they come out clean and ready to coat. You see a little bit of hazing if you're using something with a high flash point on press. You might see a little bit of stencil if your stencil remover gets weak, but it still coats, it still images, it still washes out. So we haven't let it bother us in our process. And if it did, we'd sell this machine and get bigger. That's it.